Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, as you all know, we've been doing monster discussions of a variety of monsters, and I wanted to do this one really quick before time passes because I feel like everyone's wondering about the new monster, the Panda Warrior. So we're going to do a quick monster review on the Panda Warrior here, and we're going to see how good he is. I think there's two good ones in this, and then potentially the fusible one might be okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first one is the Panda Warrior Fei, the fire one, okay? It's a defense-based monster, which seems okay enough. He increases resistance by 25% upon awakening, which is alright, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. So he has 10.5 base HP. He has a little bit of attack power. He has a lot of defense, 823, and then 96 speed, which is just that 96 speed. Always, I don't know why they keep doing that between the natural 5 stars. They keep nerfing their speed by putting it in the 90s. Like, I don't know what Comtios is trying to do here, but it's okay. So the base HP is kind of low, in my opinion. When you go really high with a defensive monster, it opens it up to ignoring defense-type monsters, and that can be a big problem. So let's look what he's good at. So his first skill, attacks the enemy 3 times, each strike having a 30% chance to decrease the target's defense for 2 turns. That's okay. Now, I haven't fused him yet. I'm pretty close to fusing him, if you see right here. So I got all of the fusion material down here. I've got him, etc., okay? So I'm getting close. And I want to see what exactly this upgrades into, because you can get a more harmful effect rate as you increase his thing. So let's say it goes up to like 40 or 50%. That could potentially be... Actually, you know what? I think I have a person on my friends list that has actually done it. Because when you have the first skill with some type of debuff, you want to make sure that it actually is upgrading the harmful effect rate, right? So let's go ahead and check his out. So here's Meat Tank. He already 6-starred his and fused it. And yeah, I was right. Okay, so it goes up to 50%. 50%. That is a lot. That is quite a lot. And then we'll look at these ones too. So I don't know why. What am I doing? Okay, so it goes up to 50%. It hits 3 times. Now, if we do a little bit of quick math there, that's the percent rate up on the screen, and that's not bad. It should be like what? Should be in like the 80, high 80%-ish range, like maybe like 85-ish percent, just doing it off the top of my head. That's what it should be around with the 50% and hitting 3 times. That is a pretty freaking good first skill, actually. That's actually pretty good. Okay, so the second one removes harmful effects, casts it on yourself, and counterattacks for 2 turns. When attacked, it recovers 15% of the HP of all allies for each turn, and the next 2 turns. Okay, so this goes down to 3 turns. Now, I was looking at this, and I was thinking, oh, it's only healing himself, and it's only counterattacking for himself, that kind of thing. Because we already looked at his skills, right, when the fusion first came out. It feels like I'm going over this like a third time, which I kind of am. But regardless, I just saw that because in the video it was only him in the dungeon that he was in. It looked like it was single target, but it's actually the entire team. So the counterattacking is for himself, but it recovers 15% HP of the entire team. So it's like a mini type heal. It heals total of 30%, so about the same as Bella Dion, a little bit lower than Bella Dion's, but it is over time, which is, I guess, okay-ish. It's not going to be good in Rift so much because most of the time this is going to be getting pulled off before you can actually use it. And then on top of that, the counterattacking is going to get pulled off before you can really use it for the boss, how he removes the buffs and stuff like that. So you got to be careful with that type of stuff. But the defense break first skill is actually really cool. So the third skill attacks the enemy 4 times with each strike having a 50% chance to apply random harmful effect. And it's just random. So you know how Orion does random harmful effect on the third skill? He only does 3 harmful effects. He does defense break, heal block, and then he does a stun. Okay? So that being said, I don't know exactly what he has on this third skill. I know he has attack break, and I know he does decrease the attack speed. So right there, that's the 3 major debuffs for Rift. So this guy could be really good for Rift, and the upgrades by 30%. So now he does it, each having an 80% chance, and it's a 3-turn cooldown, right? So 3-turn cooldown, 3-turn cooldown, and then you use this one. So you use this one, this one, this one, and it just cycles through all the skills, right? So you're just constantly cycling through these skills. Now, he does have a universal defense leader skill. So if you consider Tessarian has universal resistance leader. This guy is I'm going to call him Panda Chow. All right, we'll call him Panda. So Panda here has actually, let's say, all right, 33% defense leader skill. Tessarian has the resistance leader skill, or you can use Dias, which a lot of people do. And then you've got HP leader skill from Veramos. If you use Veramos, you could use crit rate from Hua. I think the only the only leader skill now up today that is actually really really hard to get for Rift is probably speed. 24% speed leader universal. I think that is the only leader skill now that will actually have a big impact in Rift, because now we have universal defense leader, so now the Fire Monkey King, which is still really good for Rift, now you have a defense leader skill that you can use. Boom, right there. So my thoughts on him, my initial thoughts on him was going to be like, oh, he's going to be like a Kumar type thing, you know. He's not going to be Kumar. Unfortunately, guys, he's not going to be a makeshift Kumar or poor man's Kumar. He's just not. Let's just be honest, okay? So, that being said, that is the fire one. I think he's okay. He's worth the fusion if you have the time and effort for it, but I don't think he's going to be any game changing. Next one is the water one. I did see a few of these summoned already, so I guess people are playing around with it. First skill, same thing, you know, the defense break. Second skill, this one is actually pretty cool. So attacks all enemies 3 times with each strike having a 15% chance to remove a beneficial effect, and then it stuns for 1 turn, okay? It hits 3 times. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, so attack deals more damage according to the max HP. And look at that, 12.6. Oh my gosh, 12.6k HP. Now, if you look at like Iona to compare it to that, 12,675. I've got 49k right there on her, and it's not like I have like the most amazing runes in the server. And he has the same exact base HP, the exact same base HP as Iona. What's his awakening? Okay, so it's accuracy for his awakening. That's good. So he awakens into accuracy, which means it'll be easier for him to remove the beneficial effects. Now, this isn't, this isn't a thing that you can use in place of Aquila or Tiana or even like Praha or something like that. This is something you can throw on defense to kind of try to trip up the enemy when they use Wombo and stuff like that. So you can put on like Nemesis or Will Runes or I don't know. But something defensive. I feel like he's a defensive monster. And he's got an HP leader skill, a universal HP leader skill. Now the third skill is a little bit weird. It launches the reckless attack or whatever, damages the enemy by 70% of its HP, but it receives the same amount of damage, and the damage can't exceed the current HP, and it will be 20% less effective against boss enemies. And it's an 8-turn cooldown, so I think that goes down to 6 turns. This one probably goes down to 3 turns, but it's based on his max HP, so you should definitely build this guy like full HP as much as possible, because this thing right here is only gonna, it's like basically a clean shot where you don't have to lose HP to do damage, right? So I was confused about this the first time around. The way it works is you can do basically as much damage as you want. It'll do 70% of the damage of the enemy's HP, but it is capped at your own HP. So say you have 40,000 HP, right? And the enemy has 100,000. You could theoretically take down 70,000 of his HP. That's 70% of his max HP of the enemy, right? But it stops before it kills you because you receive the same amount. So it'll stop. So it'll be like 39.999k HP lost for the enemy, and then you lose the same amount. So it's 20% less effective against bosses. So it removes 50%. So I think it can be useful. I don't think it's good for Rift or anything like that, because this second skill does not really make any sense for Rift. I don't know if I would use him on defense in any way. In a sense, I don't know. I feel like he seems kind of something maybe you would throw on defense, but then again, he's water monster, and it doesn't really help with the current meta that is all wind units. That's why I was talking about the fire one. The fire one could definitely change some stuff up, but the water one's not going to do it. There's too many Lucians right now, and everyone's going to be Lucianing, so I just don't think it's going to be doing much. You could actually throw him with Rena teams with a 33% HP leader skill, though. And he could definitely do some damage over, because I don't think this scales with crit damage. It's just like Ramagos' clean shot. So that's going to be cool and interesting. So the wind one's the next one. This is actually something that I was actually looking at. So this guy's another defensive-based monster. Critical rate, so he awakens into critical rate. That's super good. That is actually super good. Critical rate and speed are the best ones that you could possibly get. All right, so the first skill, same thing, the defense break. Second skill is the same one as the fire one. So he removes all the harmful effects on himself, counterattacks for 2 turns, and then recovers 15% of the HP of all allies for 2 turns. What that means is the little buff, remember? So same thing as the fire one. It's okay, in some stages, some areas of the map, I guess, or dungeons, something like that. Okay. So the third skill is a passive, actually. Attack bar increases by 30% whenever he's attacked. So anytime he starts getting attacked, like maybe by Perna teams or anything like that, he will get his attack bar increased by 30%. So his attacks also inflict additional damage proportionate to the defense, which is good because you can actually do defense, crit damage, defense, maybe full revenge, and he will go, oh man, every time he's attacked, 30% of his HP bar, or attack bar starts going up. Then he also increases, ooh, whoa, 44% in guild battles, defense, And he does his own defense break, which is a really high chance. And he does a counterattacking. Oh, shit. This guy could be really good for guild battles. Ooh. That is nasty. That is nasty. All right, so check this out. He has low base speed, which is fine. All right? So you can put on your own defense break. He counterattacks, which when he counterattacks, he uses skill 1. Skill 1 puts on defense break. Then whenever he gets attacked and he counterattacks, 30% of his attack bar will go up, which means he's a third of the way back up. His attack bar will go, like, he's a third of the way closer to moving, which means he can throw this on again if he needs to, if maybe violent procs or something like that, or he'll just use the skill again. And all of his damage is proportionate to the defense, or it does additional damage to the defense. Holy shit. So this guy could be very nasty. This guy could be almost like a better copper in a way. He doesn't ignore defense, which just doesn't matter because the only skill he's going to be using for damage already puts on defense break. And it attacks 3 times. So he could put on defense break on the first hit, and then 2 more times he's hitting again, and just boom, boom, and that's a lot of damage right there. And he puts on defense break leader skill for himself. Oh, man. Okay, that's a lot of talking right there. And he gets a 15% crit rate bonus. What the fuck? Okay, this guy's actually pretty cool. I actually like this guy. We're just going to call him Fran. Or no, there's already a monster named Fran. Shit. Okay, well, Fang. We'll call him Fang. I don't like these long double names. It's just, they're hard to pronounce sometimes, and I don't want to butcher the names. So the next one is the light one. As this is actually, in my opinion, the best one. I mean, I already did read the skills, and we'll talk about it. The wind and the light one, they look really cool, though. So the 96 base speed, again, 96 base speed. It's just, what the hell, CompTOS? 12.3k max HP, which is actually not bad. The max defense is actually a little bit low if you look at it compared to the water one. The water one has better stats, but the light one has more attack power. Barely any, though. Now it's it's HP Valley Monsters in guild battles. 44% in guild battles. That is crazy. So if you check this out, 44% HP leader skill for guild battles. First skill puts on defense, right? Defense break. Second skill will actually put on the AoE removal, buff removal. So you attack all enemies 3 times, each strike having 15% chance to remove beneficial effect and stunning them. So it is a 15% chance to stun them, I believe. So it's 15% for both removing the beneficial effect and stunning them. So for both of those, and it hits 3 times. I don't know what the awakening is into, like for the harmful effect rate, but this could be actually pretty cool, and it does actually deal more damage according to the max HP. Now the third skill is a passive, which is nice because he's only going to be using these 2 skills, which guarantees, I guess, more consistency on your defense. So the effect of all attack bar increasing skills of both allies and enemies will be decreased by 50%. This is not something you want to use with Nemesis people. This is not something you want to use with Bernard or Orion teams. Anything like that, you do not want to use this guy, okay? Because he does it for both allies and enemies. Also, the attack bar will increase by 20%. So this guy's attack bar will increase by 20% whenever any enemy uses an attack bar increasing skill. So Bernard, Orion, or anything like that. This guy will actually reduce that by half and then get 20% of his attack bar up. And then it's this skill will not apply to an opponent that has the same skill or boss skills. Oh, so this does not apply to another light panda. So a light panda versus light panda, this passive is like completely kaput. So, yeah, I guess if you want to fight fire with fire, you could bring a light panda versus a light panda. But, okay. But yeah, I don't know. Actually, looking at it now, it looks actually pretty cool. but it actually does nerf a little bit of your team as well. So you have to make sure you don't have any of those types of units on your team. But that looks super awesome. I really like this passive. It is a unique passive that actually we have not seen yet, and I'm glad they're adding new stuff into the game. So the next one is the dark one. I think if I remember correctly, this one is okay-ish. So let's go and check it out. He awakens into attack speed by 15. Oh yeah, I knew that. So he has high attack power. He's an attack-based monster. He is the only panda here that is attack-based. The other two, or the other four being two of them defense, two of them HP-based. So defense break on first skill. This one is the one where it does the counterattacking and the healing and the removing the harmful effects and stuff like that. And then this one, it attacks all enemies, decreasing their attack power for 2 turns, and casts a shield on yourself, equivalent to 20% of the damage inflicted for 3 turns. Okay, that's a mouthful. Whew, okay. So he awakens with attack speed, which is nice, 111 base speed attack. That is actually just as much as Chloe and Bernard, which is quite a bit. So he does get 44% attack power in guild battles. On top of that, he does an AoE attack skill, which decreases the attack power. He also puts a shield on himself that is equivalent to 20% of the inflicted damage. So let's say you do 20k damage. That means you're going to be doing what, like a 4k shield? I think that's a 4k shield, yeah. Alright, so that's not bad. I mean, 4k is really not that much, but it's better than nothing. And this skill probably goes down to 4 or 3 turn cooldown. So if you use this shit a lot, you're going to be getting a lot of shields up. So, and it's actually for 3 turns too. So I'd put this guy on Violent Runes, maybe make use of that leader skill in guild battles. You could maybe throw him on defense, but you'd probably need some defense break. Maybe throw him with Galleon. You could probably do that too. And then this counter-attacking would be good because you set yourself up for that defense break, and there is no attribute disadvantage since he is a dark monster. Okay, whew, a lot of attacking there. Now, my thoughts out of all of these pandas after reading them again, going through them thoroughly, looking at their stats and everything like that, because this is the first time I'm looking at their stats, I'm definitely going to have to say the one that impressed me the most just off of reading it was probably the wind one. This guy just seems to have it all. The other ones seem to be lacking in like some place here or there, and maybe a little bit because every time, I don't know, it's been like a few months since CompTOS has added a very game-changing monster. The Fairy Kings have all been kind of meh. Like, even the water one felt really underwhelming every time I faced him in arena or even used him because I got to play with him. And even these pandas seem kind of underwhelming. But this wind one seems like it could actually do some serious damage in Guild Wars if you could get him upright, like set him upright, because there's a lot of water and wind type units, I guess, or defenses in guild battles. So if you come across a water and wind guild defense, all you got to do is pop this bad boy in, throw in that little defense allegiance skill. You could throw him in, Chasoon, and Copper, or something like that, right? Because he does a 44% defense buff for his leader skill. And that could actually really help Copper. Oh, that could be very nasty. And then, of course, he's just got the full kit. So I'm going to have to go with the wind one on this one. The light one, as much as it looks interesting, I feel like it's too good to be true to be game-changing. No one's probably going to get it for a while, or at least it's going to be something that's going to be super rare because a lot of these, new natural 5-star light and dark monsters, barely anyone gets it. And on top of that, it nerfs your enemies and your allies. So if you put this guy on defense, even then, all they have to do is just not bring anyone that is increasing the attack bar. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much else he does except maybe having a small chance to remove beneficial effect and stunning, which is good in itself. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think these pandas can be somewhat useful in some areas. I feel like otherwise they're just going to be pretty underwhelming. The dark one seems okay. The light one seems okay. The wind one seems pretty freaking good for guild battles. I'm going to have to say the most underwhelming one, actually, I'm sorry, probably seems to be the water one. And that's just because the fire one seems actually like it's going to be useful in Rift because of that defense leader skill. If it wasn't for that defense leader skill, I'd be like, nah, not worth it. But that defense leader skill is really going to help with Rift because he brings a lot of debuffs too. The water one just doesn't really bring much. He brings the HP leader skill, which is nice, but he doesn't really bring any debuffs. He doesn't really bring any super like crazy damage. because he's already reducing his own HP. So all you got to do is wait for him to do the HP, and then you could probably hit him out. So maybe this will be something that people will use in live PvP because it can seem to be controlled damage, and he can be super tanky. So I guess we'll see. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys disagree with me, I'd love to hear your opinion. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.